I will declare over my baby, I will declare over my bump, I will declare that my baby is head down, I will declare that I will not have tear, I will declare that I will not have an episiotomy. So many declarations. And when the delivery day came, oh my God, I felt like every single thing that I believed God for, for a while I felt very disappointed in myself. I felt disappointed in God. I felt like, there was a time I was crying on the phone. I was talking to my sister and I was like, my faith failed me. And now I can laugh and cry at the same time, but that is for just all tears. Okay guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me here, the saved woman, Zuleika, Miss Afalabi, Mrs. Afalabi. Anyway guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I filmed a sit down video. I want to be more consistent in posting my personal videos because that was where I started from in the first place, right? So today I'm going to be sharing my labor and my delivery experience. Oh my God, I'm trying, and to be honest, I didn't think I would share this soon. This is 8 months postpartum, close to 9 months postpartum. My baby will be 9 months on the 14th of February, right? That is, I'm filming this video on the 2nd of February, and I just really feel led to share this because I believe that there are so many people that will be encouraged and there's so many people that will be blessed by this video. So okay, if you've not watched how I found out or finding out I was pregnant, you should click I'll put it in the description so you can check that out, because that will give a bit of context as to the journey, how it began and all that. Because I got pregnant almost immediately after my wedding, so I gave birth to my baby like about 9 months plus after my wedding, right? And it wasn't something I planned. I was actually trying to prevent pregnancy. I was taking some contraceptive pills, blah blah blah. But yeah, it is here today, so clearly the pills didn't work, right? And I believe it was all in God's plan. So finding out I was pregnant, I wasn't very happy, but later I started to embrace the journey. I started to read my supernatural childbirth. I started to read my, pregnancy devotional, try and put pictures of every material I used in this video. And my faith was alive. I was meditating on scriptures. I was going for my walks. One thing I really enjoyed about my pregnancy was the fact that I wasn't only, meditating on scriptures and doing the spiritual work. I was also doing a physical work. I joined an online antenatal group because I felt like the antenatal group I was attending in the hospital I was registered in was just very, very general. I felt like I needed something that I could ask questions. It was my first baby, and I just wanted to be properly taken care of, especially because I'm this kind of person that believes in whatever it is I'm doing at all. I want to, especially something as important as childbirth, right? I wanted to get everything right, spiritual side, physical side, because Kenneth Hagin said something that if you're doing what is right in the physical and doing what is right in the spiritual, you're going to have a divine result. He was talking about divine health specifically. You're going to have divine health. So I believe you can apply that in anything, right? In your health, you can do this, the spiritual side, meditating on the scriptures. You can physically take care of your body. In your academics, you can meditate on God's word. You can confess that you're an excellent student, but you have to do the physical side by reading your books and studying. But yeah, so I found out, and I was doing all I needed to do. I was exercising, especially when I was getting closer to my due date. I was exercising. I started to get contractions. I was declaring that I was going to have a painless childbirth, a supernatural childbirth. I read those testimonies and I was like, this is my testimony. I'm not going to labor for long. In fact, I'm not even going to labor. I see that I'm going there to birth my baby. I'm going to the delivery room. I'm going to a favor room. I'm going to the grace room, the grace of God. So many declarations, so many. I was fired up. I would pray with my sister. I'll pray with my husband. I'll tell my husband to declare over me. I'll declare over my baby. I'll declare over my bump. I'll declare that my baby is head down. I'll declare that I will not have tear. I'll declare that I will not have an episiotomy. So many declarations. And when the delivery day came, oh my God, I felt like every single thing that I believed God for, for a while I felt very disappointed in myself. I felt disappointed in God. I felt like, there was a time I was crying on the phone. I was talking to my sister and I was like, my faith failed me. And now I can laugh and cry at the same time, but that is for just all tears. Like, how come I believe God for so many things concerning this delivery, and it just felt like I wasn't seeing any of it come to pass because I was in pain, right? And it's not even just the pain, it's the fact that the hospital I was in, it felt like I don't know if you've given birth in Nigerian teaching hospital before. That care, that attention, that really paying attention to someone, because when I was in pain, I kept saying it's my first baby, right? Even if I didn't see it, they could see it in my file that this is they call it prima something, I can't remember the name now, but you could see that this is my first baby, and I expected that extra attention, that extra patience. And there was a midwife there. If I was in pain, I was shouting, Jesus, my husband will help me, all those kind of things that we shout in labor. And first of all, I was wondering, I didn't believe God to have a painful delivery, right? But again, even with the pain, I was like, okay, I wouldn't have it here. I was now believing that since I'm feeling pain, let me now believe for no tear. And I was there, crying in pain, praying in worship, I even carried my supernatural childbirth book. And I remember, they kept checking me at intervals, and I was doing very well. I was dilating very fast because I gave birth. The contractions started on Sunday, but they were not strong, and they were like maybe 45 minutes apart. And on Monday evening, it started to get closer and closer. And then my neighbor, thank God for my neighbor, she's a doctor in the I think I've forgotten the name, gynae ward or so, gynecology. I think they call it obstetrics and gynecology. And she was also in the hospital, working in that hospital. So she advised me to go to the hospital. In fact, the beginning of it was when they were like, oh, they want to check me, and it was a man that checked me. If you've had a baby, you know what checking is. Like, they check to see how dilated you are, and they put their hand in your stuff, in your thing. Anyway, they checked. The contraction started to get stronger. There was even a nurse that was telling me, you've not started, because I was not in pain. Because me, I believe, even when she was saying that I've not started, like, I feel like that's even a traumatic thing, or I feel like it's not a nice thing to say, because you're basically telling someone to expect pain. I feel like, I don't know if that will contribute, but I'm just trying to, think about all the things that happen. And the contraction started, I started to actually feel pain, even if I was declared I wouldn't have pain. And then I was doing my own, okay, since I'm dilating fast, no matter what, even with the pain, right, the baby was going to come out and everything will be fine, because my labor was fast. It wasn't like people that would say, oh, they were in pain for, hours upon hours. I was dilating fast. It got to a point where they were like 8 centimeters, and that was like, I think after 12 or so, around, yes, midtime, because I got to the hospital by like almost 7. And there was this midwife that was attending to me. I can never forget her face. In fact, I remember she's dark-skinned, and she kept telling me to calm down. In fact, she was encouraging me, and she was like, calm down, don't shout, don't use your energy to shout, you need your energy to push. And I was 8 centimeters, and I was having that urge to push. And I didn't know that you can have this kind of urge, but it's not the real thing. When the real thing comes, you would know that it is time. Like, there's a way your body would tell you that it is time to push. And I was having someone like I should push. Me now being the first time, I assumed that, okay, she has checked me, I'm ready, and I pushed. All of a sudden, I started to lose strength, and there was blood everywhere because I was losing blood. I couldn't sit, obviously, because I was laid on my back and I was pushing. Another midwife now came and was like, no, now she's not ready. And I saw the look on her face, because I had multiple tears. Like, I didn't want to do this video because I kind of felt like I didn't want people to be scared of delivery and labor. But I feel like there are some people that have had my experience, similar experience, and maybe you feel like God is not good, or your faith failed you, because that's how I felt for months. That is how I felt for months. Even till now, sometimes I'm still like, God, if I had done this and this, would this amount, you understand? Like, if I had done something differently, maybe I would have had a less painful experience, right? And so I pushed, and then I didn't know that everything, that multiple tears, and to make it worse, they still had to give me an episiotomy cut, right? And I started to feel like, this is not what I believe God for. But at the same time, I'm like, let the baby even come out, because I was already shouting that they should take the baby out. They should just operate on me and bring the, how pain, if you've experienced labor pain, you understand, like, there's a pain. In fact, it got to a point where, I can remember when it was this hand, I was in pain, and I was literally biting on my flesh, like my skin was red. Even my mom was asking, what happened to you here? I said, it's me that I was the one that beat myself. Like, I beat myself because of the pain. And the baby came out, and the main trauma was when they were stitching me. They spent almost 4 hours stitching me, because then I didn't know I had something they call cervical laceration. It tear from inside because I pushed too soon. They were stitching me without anesthetics. And the fact is, even when I was ready to push, the way the midwives in this hospital are, I'm going to call the hospital UBTH, University of Benin Teaching Hospital, and I registered with that hospital thinking that it's a teaching hospital. They always say, oh, teaching hospitals are the best, blah blah blah. They have experienced midwives, they have experienced nurses. Some of them are quite nice, some of them really know what they are doing, but some of them, I believe that the main thing is that they lack empathy, they lack patience. And I feel maybe it's because of the system in Nigeria. Maybe they feel like they are not being taken care of in their profession, so I feel like they transfer it to their patients. And two, when it's a teaching hospital, I feel like they just treat people as if, and even if teaching hospital might not be as expensive as some private hospitals, I feel like they treat people as if, okay, because they're affordable, they just feel they can treat people anyhow. My own is, even if you cater to maybe people that are lower or middle class, you shouldn't treat people in a particular way because you feel like, okay, your service is affordable. Everybody should be treated with compassion. Me, I could afford private hospital, but I went to this hospital because I felt like they were going to give me the best service, and also they were closer to the house we're staying, because we're staying close to Uniben, because my husband was working close to Uniben area, right? So I felt like, okay, I had other options. So it was later that my uncle's wife that stays in Benin was telling me that another hospital, whether Lily Hospital, would have been better. And Lily Hospital was among the hospitals. In fact, UBTH was not among my insurance, hospitals, because I was under Leadway Assurance because of where I was working. And now, so I had to I had to register with UBTH and give my insurance a receipt so that they paid for my antenatal. So I could have even registered for Lily Hospital that was originally on my list. But anyway, let's not, we are not regretting, we are not looking back. So I did that. They were stitching me for almost 4 hours without any pain relief. I was in intense pain because I had just given birth to a baby. I was in pain, and they are still, God, I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about it because it was so traumatic. It was a guy stitching me, and he wasn't even talking to me politely. I feel like that's a thing they do in UBTH, where they feel like, or most general teaching hospitals, they feel like, okay, they're not patient, they don't show empathy. Lots of them, there were some again that are nice. I don't want to generalize, but most of them that I experienced in my time there, they were not nice, they were not friendly, or they will just talk as if, okay, they need to be tough. They're not tough. People will not cooperate. In fact, they told me I'm not cooperating. I'm like, I should cooperate when you are stitching down there and it's painful. Cooperate how? Like, I don't want to think about all these things. Even as this guy, the person was crying. This guy was teaching me. The needle he was using kept breaking. To the point that, okay, I'm not cooperating. I said, rest, it's okay. The pain was too much. I said, it's fine. They should take me to theater to do the stitching. The pain was too much for me to bear. And then another doctor came. That one used to form tough because she was the one that even did my membrane sweep on Monday afternoon. Monday was my antenatal day. So that Monday evening, that was when I now, had contractions. I gave birth Tuesday, 2:20 a.m. That's my princess, that my darling came forth. But yeah. Also, shout out to my husband. My husband was always, there. In fact, there was a time that I don't know what he was typing on his phone. I think he was sending message that, oh, I'll soon give birth to someone, like maybe someone close. I just said, drop that phone. What are you doing on your phone? Drop it. I was like, I don't know how I didn't know that I could be like that, though. Honestly, I didn't know that I could be that vocal when I was in labor. And so I remember, where was I now? So this other doctor that did my membranes, in fact, she seems to be a very tough, how they behave. And she was like, she was not still trying to do the stitching, but I was in pain. This was like around 6. I was like, sorry, I can't. She was like, it's like, you have money to go to theater, you go to theater. I was like, it's fine, I'm not doing this anymore. Take me to theater where they will give me injection and I will not feel the pain. So that was how I went to theater. At this time, I've not even held my baby. I've not even, they just put her on my body for like 1 second before they took her out, because I needed to still get blood. I got 2 pints of blood. In fact, the one time I was want to pay for 3 pints of blood because I lost blood because of the cervical tear. But this is not even where the challenge started. After everything, I was expecting that, okay, it will just heal, they will stitch, everything will be fine. I'll go and do my sit bath at home. Sit bath is when you sit in water, like warm water. Sometimes there's warm water. Sometimes they say you should use salt. Sometimes you don't use salt. Sit in warm water, so that the place will heal. And I also had hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids is when the anus like sticks out. I started noticing it when I was in my final weeks of pregnancy, and they said, oh, it's normal if you go inside. But my own bulge when I was pushing because of pushing the force. So that when I got home thinking that, oh, injury will heal. My brethren, injury was not healing. The stitches were not healing. I could not sit, I could not walk. I was literally limping. In fact, just I don't want to be too graphic, but I could not, every step I took was in pain. Sitting, if I want to sit, I would probably sit. I would not be able to put my bum on the seat properly because of the pain. Breastfeeding was hell. Everything was hard to do. I started to just feel very, I felt like God, what is all this? I was just always in that state where, in fact, I was getting close to postpartum depression, if not for my husband, that, you know, he kept praying for me, he kept declaring over me, because I was close to postpartum. Like, my mental health, like, there were times I felt like as if I was going crazy, because I didn't expect that kind of thing. My body was swollen, a lot of things were going. I was not lactating well. Like, that's another story again. Like, because of the way the lactation, that one was another one, I just felt so pain. Like, you know, that kind of thing where you feel like, what can even go right in this whole process? I went for 6 weeks, my 6-week appointment, and they said my episiotomy broke down. They said the episiotomy has broken down. They were asking me, who told me to do sit back? This was the same hospital that the doctors that, you know, discharged me, because I was in the hospital for 3 days. In fact, I gave birth Tuesday early in the morning. I stayed till Friday because of the complications. This stitching, they had to be sure that everything was fine down there, and I had to use something called catheter. I could not pee normally, so the thing just takes the pee from your bladder, empties your bladder. It was disgusting. The hospital was dirty. I couldn't bathe. It was that bad. I didn't even bother, because me, if I can't bathe in a place that is dirty, the nurses there, they will see that I'm struggling. In fact, they will say, if you don't want to bathe, they'll give you warm water to clean yourself. The water that they will bring for me to clean myself, I will be the one to clean it by myself. After birth, I developed eczema, like my skin. I even had fever blisters. Even here, this one is not even clearing out because I am using pseudocreme on it. I had fever blisters. Like, if you see the hospital, mosquitoes, I had to buy an extra net for my baby, because obviously she has not even taken BCG, so you can't even risk her having malaria. It was a traumatic experience. Like, they would just say, madam, come and carry your baby, come and bathe your baby. My mind, the first time they told me to bathe my baby, I said, I'm not bathing. Like, you can see that I'm in pain. You should go and bathe her by yourself. Like, it was even one nurse that just cleaned her body. I was like, I can just clean her body, it's okay. The next time they were saying I must bathe the baby, another nurse to that one came, she helped me. Like, in fact, 3 of them, some of them were actually nice, but some of them, they would just do like as if they are doing you a favor. They don't clean you, they don't take care of you, they don't clean you up, nothing. I'm like, I didn't know it was like this, so it was just terrible. It was terrible. There's some experiences that I don't even want to go into detail, because like I said, it was traumatic, but I don't want people that have not had babies to just believe that it has to be like this, because I still believe in supernatural childbirth. I believe that. And I believe that supernatural childbirth is not just when you don't have pain, or you know, you don't have a tear, you don't have a cut. A CS is supernatural birth. A vaginal delivery with all the complications is still supernatural. Because before I had my baby, a few days before I had my baby, I had a dream that I actually died. Yeah, and I believe that the enemy was really after my life, because it got to a time when I was in labor and I was telling my husband, take care of the baby. I was already talking as if I wasn't going to make it, but look, I am here today, and by God's grace, I'm living to my good old age. I'll see my children's children, and I will lay hands on my children and tell them that I'm about to go. Like, that's where I want to go to build, but I don't want to go in sickness. I don't want to go by accident. I don't want to go by crash or whatever. I want to go knowing where I'm going and knowing that it's time for me to go and be with God. It was tough. It was tough. In fact, for 4 months, I was still limping. I wasn't walking properly. And all those women that will be like, auntie, why are you walking like that now? You're still a young girl. Stop walking like that because you had a baby. My mind, are you in my body? There was somebody that told me that thing. I'm like, you're still a young girl. You see the way you're walking. And I told her, do you think that I like to walk like this? Like, I am in pain. That is why I'm walking like that. I am trying my best. And you find people that was like, this is your stomach. There was somebody that pressed my stomach, and she was like, did they press your belly? She's the same person I was giving my baby formula. She was like, you're not being exclusive. I said no. And you're saying like something you should be proud of. My man, do you know how I got here? Do you know that I escaped there to get to this point? My sisters and my brothers, I don't want to say too much, but God is faithful. God saw us through. And I want to say something. If you gave birth to a baby, and you are like me, you felt like your childbirth was not supernatural like you wanted it. It was supernatural. The fact that you came out, you are alive, your baby is alive. You had a supernatural birth, because it could have been worse. It could have been far worse. The enemy was planning over me. The enemy was planning so many things. He did not get me when I gave birth. So he was planning for postpartum depression. In fact, it felt like I was losing my mind. I don't know how to describe it. I felt like I wasn't myself anymore. But I thank God for my husband. I thank God for people that were praying for me, encouraging me. Shout out to Chidima. God will bless Chidima for me. Like, sis, God bless you. Thank you for everything you did and you're still doing. Thank you for, she was like one of the first people that I realized that knew that I told I was pregnant, and I didn't know where to start from, but she would always encourage me. She would send things. She sent things for me and my baby. She sent breast pump. I don't want to see all the things she did, because I know she doesn't want me to do that, but she's just a blessing. God will put you with people, as in put people that will help you, hold your hands. And these are people that were not even with me physically. Chidima is not even in Nigeria. Mercy, God bless you. Jojo was like one of the first people that I knew. Even if she had not even had a baby, she was always encouraging me, sending me reels to make me laugh. And like I said, if your baby came out, you came out, you are alive. Your baby is alive. You had a supernatural childbirth. Don't allow anybody fool you. Of course, it might not be as perfect as you wanted it, but one thing I know is that the next one will not be like that. God will make it. God will make it easier for all of us in the name of Jesus. And I remember somebody shared a testimony of someone that had labor. She had labored, though, thinking her baby was going to come out through, vaginal pathway, but she still had tears. And the lady was telling me, shout out to a transformational woman on Instagram, and she was telling me that this person, I think the person is her sister or her friend, also her friend, that her next birth didn't even last up to 1 hour. She gave birth. That God will compensate me, and I received it. That God is going to compensate me. And even with my daughter, seeing her grow, seeing her just blossom, and just seeing how she gives me so much rest. Of course, there are challenges with taking care of a baby, especially when you don't have a help or anything. You are doing it by yourself with your husband. But God has given me ease. She's not picky when she eats. She eats anything you give her. As far as it's food and it tastes good, she'll eat it. She doesn't say, oh, I don't want this. She doesn't pick food, and I'm so grateful to God for that. God is a good God. So I'm here to encourage you. You might not have had the childbirth that you wanted to have, but God came through for you. It's only probably when we get to heaven we'll see all the bullets or all the arrows that God helped us to escape in childbearing, because the Bible says she shall be saved in childbearing. So the fact that you're alive, your baby is alive, you had a supernatural birth. My experience was traumatic. It was. I'm healing. I'm still healing from the trauma. But God has, God has given me that grace, I don't know how to explain it, that heart where I'm like, you know what, God, I'm going to, when I was pregnant, right, when I was, about to give birth, I was always listening to, I still got joy in chaos. I've got peace that makes no sense when everything around me is shaking. I don't know how the other part goes, but it says, I put my faith in Jesus. He's never let me down. He's faithful through every season. So why would he fail now? He won't. My favorite part is, rain came, wind blew, but my house was built on you. And I'm safe in you. I'm gonna make it through. Then this one is Nigerian. Ẹ̀yà ìgbà fi gbé mi o, bí kò ṣe wọ Ọlọ́run tó lágbára. Ayé ìgbà fi gbé mi o, bí kò ṣe wọ Ọlọ́run tó lágbára. And he's crying. I have to go and attend to her. But yeah, I'll listen to those songs and I'll be wondering, why is God asking me to listen to these songs? But when I had my baby, I saw the battles. That thank you for fighting my battles for me was my testimony. God fought all my battles and he won it. So I want to encourage you. You had a supernatural childbirth. You just don't know it. God bless you. Let me go and attend to my madam.